In the heart of the ancient Mediterranean, a maritime power emerged that rivaled the greatest civilizations of its time, the Carthaginians. Originating from mysterious Phoenicia, these masters of trade and navigation founded Carthage, a prosperous city on the North African coast. With their unparalleled naval skills, an extensive trade network that spans seas and continents, and an insatiable ambition for expansion, the Carthaginians stood out for their epic rivalry against the emerging power of Rome. If you are a history lover, subscribe now to not miss the most fascinating updates from the world. The origins of Carthage and the Phoenicians. The history of the Carthaginians goes back to Phoenicia, a region in the Levant that corresponds largely to modern-day Lebanon and parts of Syria and Israel. The Phoenicians were known for their maritime prowess, establishing numerous colonies along the coasts of the Mediterranean. Carthage, whose name in Phoenician means new city, was founded in the late 9th century BC by Phoenician settlers from the city of Tyre, one of the main Phoenician city-states. The legend of Dido, also known as Alyssa in Phoenician tradition, is deeply rooted in the stories of Carthage's founding. The legend of Dido. The story of Dido is a mixture of myth, legend, and possibly some historical truths. Dido was originally a Phoenician princess from Tyre. After the death of her father, the king of Tyre, the rule of the kingdom was assumed by her brother, Pygmalion. According to some versions of the legend, Pygmalion had Dido's husband killed, motivated by greed or jealousy. To escape her brother's schemes, Dido fled Tyre with some loyal followers and arrived on the coast of North Africa, where she attempted to negotiate with a local ruler to acquire habitable lands. The ruler, trying to be clever, told her she could have all the land she could cover with a piece of leather. Dido, showing her ingenuity, cut the leather into very fine strips and arranged them in a circle, thus marking a considerable area where she founded the city of Carthage. The legend of Dido is also linked with Aeneas, the Trojan hero who appears in Virgil's work, the Aeneid. After the fall of Troy, Aeneas and his followers wandered the Mediterranean, and on their journey, they arrived in Carthage, where they were welcomed by Dido. The two fell in love, but Aeneas, reminded by divine messengers of his destiny to found Rome, left Dido and departed for the Italian peninsula. Devastated by Aeneas's departure, Dido built a funeral pyre and threw herself onto it, ending her life in the flames. The rise of Carthage. As Phoenician influence in the Levant began to decline due to invasions and the growing power of empires such as the Assyrian and Babylonian, Carthage thrived and emerged as the main successor to the Phoenician heritage. Thanks to its strategic location and naval skills inherited from the Phoenicians, the Carthaginians established an extensive network of colonies and trading posts along the Mediterranean coasts. These trade centers extended from the island of Sardinia, the Balearic Islands, to the coast of what is now Spain. Carthage possessed one of the most powerful fleets of the ancient world, which not only allowed it to protect its trade routes from pirates and rivals but also to impose control over major trade routes, charging navigation fees to other major cities such as Athens and Alexandria. The Carthaginians traded a vast array of goods, such as grains imported from Sicily, metals like tin from the Iberian Peninsula and silver from Spain, as well as exotic products from Africa like ivory and precious stones. In addition, Carthage was famous for Phoenician purple dye, extracted from a specific type of sea snail, highly valued in antiquity. One of the most well-known generals and leaders of Carthage was Mago, a member of the important Maganid dynasty. Mago was the author of an agricultural treatise in 28 volumes, known as the Agricultural Treatise of Mago. Although this treatise was lost over time, it was considered very influential in antiquity and was translated into Latin, affecting Roman agricultural thought. Carthaginian religion. Carthaginian religion, rooted in Phoenician traditions and practices, was a crucial component of daily life and the cultural identity of Carthage. Although much of what is known about Carthaginian religion comes from external sources, especially Roman and Greek, who often viewed Carthaginian religious practices through hostile or exotic lenses, it is possible to identify some central elements. The Carthaginians worshipped a variety of deities, the main ones being Balamon, associated with fertility and agriculture, and Tanit, a goddess of the moon, fertility, and, in some contexts, a funerary deity. Tanit became one of the most prominent deities in Carthage and was often represented by a specific symbol resembling a female figure with raised arms. Carthaginian temples were centers of religious activity, and many have been found in Carthage and other Carthaginian colonies. Offerings, generally agricultural in nature, were common, and there is also archaeological and written evidence of animal sacrifices. Some sources, especially classical Roman and Greek authors, claim that the Carthaginians practiced human sacrifices in honor of their deities. However, recent archaeological studies suggest that while cremation rites were common, the extent and context of human sacrifice remain a topic of debate. Some argue that human sacrifices were a ritualized practice during times of crisis, while others suggest they were less common than ancient sources imply. The Punic Wars. Carthage's territorial and naval expansion led to several conflicts with other Mediterranean powers, the most notorious being the Punic Wars against Rome. These wars, which lasted from 264 BC to 146 BC, were crucial to the course of ancient history, as they determined Roman primacy in the western Mediterranean and led to the total destruction of Carthage. The First Punic War, 264 to 241 BC, was primarily a struggle for control of Sicily, especially the cities of Messina and Syracuse. Although Carthage had a powerful fleet, Rome quickly adapted to naval warfare, introducing the corvus, a kind of mobile bridge to board and capture enemy ships. The war ended with Rome's victory, which forced Carthage to abandon Sicily and pay a large indemnity. The Second Punic War, 218 to 201 BC, was marked by Carthaginian ambitions in the Iberian Peninsula and the figure of the Carthaginian general Hannibal Barca, who challenged Roman supremacy. This war is famous for Hannibal's daring crossing of the Alps to attack Italy. Hannibal achieved several decisive victories in Italian territory, such as the battles of Trebia, Lake Trasimene, and Cannae. However, Rome adopted a strategy of attrition, avoiding decisive battles until it was ready. Eventually, the Roman general Scipio Africanus defeated Hannibal at the Battle of Zama, resulting in Carthage's defeat. The Third Punic War, 149 to 146 BC, was the final military confrontation between Carthage and Rome. Although Carthage had been severely weakened by the Second Punic War, Rome still considered it a threat due to its economic recovery. After a long and brutal siege, Carthage was invaded, sacked, and destroyed by the Romans. Many of its inhabitants were killed or sold into slavery. According to legend, the Romans scattered large amounts of salt on Carthage's agricultural lands to ensure that nothing would ever grow there again. The Fall of Carthage. The fall of Carthage marked the end of a major rival to Rome and consolidated Roman primacy in the Mediterranean. Although Carthage was destroyed, its legacy endures in history as one of the most powerful and sophisticated centers of the ancient world. The city was one of the most influential of its time, and its culture, economy, and religiosity played a crucial role in shaping the Mediterranean world. The history of Carthage, though overshadowed by Roman dominance, remains a reminder of the rich tapestry of civilizations that formed the core of the ancient Mediterranean. Don't forget to subscribe and comment on what topic you would like us to explore in upcoming videos.